So shredded beef with cilantro is my husband's favorite dish and one of mine as well. I think it's very unique to use cilantro stems in anything, nonetheless cooked. I think a lot of people think you need the leaves, but actually you can use the stems for minced stems for garnish or chopped stems for saute. So I'm very excited about sharing this dish. The first thing I think is key is cutting the flank steak against the grain. So as you can see here are the lines, and you're gonna cut against the lines like that. And once you cut it, you've got a strip that has these kind of muscle in it, and then you shred that further, and that's what you call shredded. And so when you look at the strip, you've got piece after piece after piece like that. This is what makes it tender when you eat it and easy to break down with your teeth. That's why cutting beef, cutting chicken is very specific in Chinese cooking. All right, so now I'm gonna make the marinade for the steak. It's gonna be 1 tablespoon of oil, oyster sauce, soy sauce, and then cornstarch. And then I'm gonna mix the beef in there for about an hour or so. Now we're gonna marinate the beef. We've shredded the beef. We're gonna put it in the marinade that we made. We're gonna mix it up, make sure it's coated, put it in the fridge. Can live in the fridge for overnight, ready to saute. You don't want them to feel like they have a mouthful or a big chunk of ginger. So you want to cut it very thin, and then you do it sideways. So when you saute it, it's super thin, gets soft. Cilantro for the beef with cilantro. When cilantro is kind of sad and wilted, you can put it in a bowl of ice water and it will waken it up right away. Soak it in ice water. Right now though, this is super fresh, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna rinse it in a bowl of water. But you can always revive cilantro with a bowl of ice water. Also, sometimes the organic cilantro has dirt in it, so I like to soak it and like move it around, get all the sediment out, and then lift it out. Let all the sediment go to the bottom. Cut it about 1 inch big. You don't want it to be too short. Cook it, it wilts, and so you don't want it to be too small. So about like 1 inch, easy, chopped, and then set it aside. We are going to make the shredded beef with cilantro. Hot pan, always a hot pan. Now the ginger root here. The ginger root that we cut about 30 seconds, not too brown. If you don't cook the ginger enough, it will be too spicy. So you want to really cook it up, make it tender, infuse the oil with the ginger before it burns. We throw in the beef. We're gonna saute this until it is cooked. And remember, we cut it very strategically, so it will be in shreds, it will be tender. You want to loosen it up so all the shreds come apart. I feel like in Chinese cuisine, you really have to pay attention to the consistency the size of what you're cutting. Everything has to be the same size. In Chinese food, the sign of a good chef is how finely you can cut things, how consistently you can cut proteins and vegetables. So remember, Chinese people eat with chopsticks, not with a fork and knife. So everything should be bite-sized. And everything should be able to just use chopsticks and your teeth and nothing more. So always cut so it's bite-sized or smaller. We're gonna add a little bit of oyster sauce, a little bit more of the wine. The book actually doesn't talk about dark soy sauce, but I'm gonna add a little dark soy sauce to give it a little bit of color. You don't need to use it, but it adds a little color. Then we're going to throw in that generous amount of cilantro. It may look like a lot, but it wilts down. You're going to want it. That's why in the cookbook we're so specific about quantities. Is the beef to the cilantro ratio wilts down. So fragrant, so herbaceous, so good. And then I'm going to add a little black pepper, a couple turns of that. And there you have it, one of our favorites, shredded beef with cilantro.